Okay, this is our second meeting of calexitnow.org. We got permission to collect the signatures. We have created the petition for people to sign. It is on an 11 by 17-inch sheet of paper, which has been problematic. You have told me that, and you're right. It is. At this moment, that's the petition we have to go forward with. So our plan now is to have petition drives in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Fresno, California. From there, we want to spread out and do even more, but we thought with 5 metro areas covering north to south, that would at least be a good start. Our plan in each one is to have a regional director for each one. I will personally go up there and we'll have an event where we're collecting signatures. And then we also want to have what we call a permanent storefront. So this would be a store that is okay with us hosting petitions there. They would get advertisement. We would tell everybody you could go to J. Bob's Barbecue, right, in downtown Bakersfield. J. Bob gets advertisement. And in return, we can tell our members that anytime J. Bob's Barbecue is open from 8 to 5, Saturday, Sunday, you can go pick up a petition. So it's win-win. We're looking for at least one store in every place. I was down in LA recently hanging out with Jeff. He's awesome, super strategic thinker. And we did a petition signing event and an immigration rally today. News was there. We got a couple signatures, but we were able to take pictures and show that we were there. I took a few pictures from people from the back of them signing, so that was good. We also reached out to the Bullet. The Bullet is a LGBTQ friendly bar in the area, and they agreed to host petitions. So now I can go back and say, we were in Los Angeles. We were meeting the public. We were handing out petitions to people. Here's a permanent place where you can pick the petitions. What we just did with LA, I want to do for San Diego, the Bay, Sacramento, and Fresno. So we'll expand to more cities from there, but at least our idea was that every city we can say, here's a picture of us actually in your city handing out petitions, and here's a place where you can permanently get the petitions in that metro. So we can at least get everybody moving and showing that we're actually doing activity. LA was the first one. We want to do the Bay Area next weekend, maybe Sacramento at the same time, but our goal is to get all those knocked out within the next 2 weeks. Within the next 2 weeks, I want to have pictures showing that we were in every major metro, at least handing out petitions on the ground. And I want a store that can host those. So one of the issues that we found out, Jeff was ahead of me on this. So there's a lot of Latinos. I'm Latino. That's awesome. Unfortunately, a lot of Latinos are scared of ICE raids. So when we went to a Latino restaurant, they were like, well, we'll sign the petition, but I don't know about you advertising that this is the place to pick it up because that puts a red flag on. So maybe super liberal. I call them hippie. If you want to back the movement, come on up. Uh, I call them hippie. Jeff calls them crunchy. Maybe kind of a liberal hippie place like your liberal hippie coffee shop, maybe your independent liberal bookstore or LGBTQ bars. We're looking for places where you're going to get a 90% chance success. Like you're going in there and you're thinking they're pretty much down with this. They don't really like what's going on in America now. And they're not going to be scared to have their business listed. So we want to list them. We want to have people pick up. So that's what we're doing. Bay, Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Diego, Fresno, 5 metro areas going up and down through California. Permanent location where anybody can pick up a petition anytime during normal working hours, and an event on the ground and a regional director for contact. That's the goal. We're getting there. We'll have it up in 2 weeks. Signature gatherings getting started. We made sure to get the petitions out to everybody. To my knowledge, we have emailed out the petitions to 12,000 people. We're looking into that. So to my knowledge, as people email in, they get an automatic email out. I understand there's some questions about that. We will be looking into that, but to my knowledge, 12,000 people have the petition. We've also, I'm going to admit someone in, managed to get this going on the ground. Finally, we got a bump in the media. I'm not asking anybody to endorse her, but Marjorie Taylor Greene specifically mentioned our initiative this week. That's good for us. I'm not asking anybody to endorse her, but conservatives in America like her. And you don't have to like her. We don't like her. I get it. We're team not like Marjorie. I get it. But she did us a favor. She did the movement a favor. She mentioned the Calexit initiative. I had just spent a week telling reporters the Republicans don't like us and they'll vote us out. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, after a week of me saying on the news, goes on X and says, I'm a conservative and we should vote these people out. Absolutely backing up everything we had told the media for a week before. So we look prescient and like we can foretell the future. It was a huge move for us for publicity. There's also an interview coming out tonight on KC24. It's going to be a 20-minute interview. That's the longest one I've done. So there might be additional publicity from that. I've only done 2 to 3 minute interviews. You can't really get into in-depth topics. This one is going to be long, in-depth answers on some stuff. That's coming out. We might expect another round from there. Additionally, CBS San Francisco is coming to my house tomorrow. They're going to be doing a shadowing, which means they'll follow me for 8 hours. I need to call people Monday, tomorrow, from 9 to 12 so that there's really cool video. If you don't mind me calling you tomorrow from 9 to 12 and being featured on the CBS San Francisco thing, please email me. Mark, I'm cool being on the video. Here's my phone number. And I'll call you and we'll have a Calexit chat while somebody from CBS San Francisco is filming. I have to, he wants me to be doing stuff. And I already told him there's no meeting room. It's mostly Zoom, emails, phone calls, etc. So he's like, okay. So there's more publicity coming. We are getting the organization going. We'll have that up soon. Additionally, on the back end, what people aren't seeing, massive, massive upgrades. We have been, Jason Wright has been interviewing like 20 people a day. We've been bringing different officers here on the back end. These aren't regional leaders. These are people on the back end who are helping us get the website correct, helping us feed it through mass email. We just launched a social media campaign. Jeff was pivotal at that. There's a lot of people coming in and helping us run a social media campaign so that we don't have to. You're going to start seeing our social media presence rolling up. Additionally, we're getting things organized on the back end with the website to the mass emailer to the social media and making sure it's all streamlined and everything's on one page, which will improve our corporate and professional look. So expect our image to become more professional over the next week to 2. Expect larger social media outreach and expect some more interviews in depth from me that you haven't seen. In addition, expect to start seeing regional directors and events in every major area. I know this should already be done. We're working really fast. I think we're moving at Mach speed. As I was telling some other people, there's going to be a little bit of lull at the beginning when we're getting the petitions out and I'm getting officers organized at events. Once we have events and everything in the officers, you're going to see a pop back up and then plateau. That's how it was in 2016. So harden our dust. I expect the dust era to be over in 2 weeks, no more. There's also some articles coming out. And some people have shown this to me with concern. There's some articles coming out saying secession is illegal. California can't secede. It's illegal. The very first meeting we had, I spent 20 minutes. And maybe I was wrong. People said that was boring and a little dry. Okay. I spent the first 20 minutes telling you all this was going to happen. They were going to come out on TV and they were going to mislead and not provide the correct information and say it's illegal. And that's why I walked you guys through how it's totally legal. I'll point out, I've read 3 different articles. Now they got David Carrillo of the Berkeley Constitution Center. All 3 articles that I saw saying California can't secede. Don't mention Texas versus White. Don't mention that you can secede with consent of the states. Don't mention Erwin Chemerinsky's the top constitutional scholar in California and said a simple majority vote would do it. They skipped the top 3 facts that I spent repeating and repeating and repeating to 25 reporters. So I'm not going to go down Conspiracy Avenue. I'm just going to point out, I made that very clear, those 3 facts to 25 reporters. They couldn't print it, and now they're saying the exact opposite. Interpret that as you will. This is why I spent the first meeting telling you guys this is completely legal. Secession is completely legal because I knew they would do this. So I'm going to write an editorial to them. I'm just going to point out, how come you guys can't mention these 3 basic facts? And that there are other lawyers who feel that secession is legal, including 4 California attorneys general and the top constitutional scholar in California, Erwin Chemerinsky. We're not going to say anybody lied. That doesn't do us any favors. We're going to say that there are other lawyers who believe this is legal, and they too have high credentials. And we'll leave it there. That's it for right now. I want to go to questions, or let's go to Jason, and then we'll go to questions. Jason, talk for a few minutes, and
Yeah,
we'll take some questions. We'll get to your questions.
yeah. So thank you everyone for showing up. Uh, Thank you for being true Californians. We have been working round the clock pretty much, onboarding as many people as we can, trying to assess skills and get people placed into positions where basically where we can all shine, right? Marcus's superpower is interviews. We want Marcus to eventually have his work down, load down to only interviews. Um, we got social media going. I'm sure Marcus covered a whole bunch of the updates, so I'm not gonna go over it all again. But folks, this is huge. We have made more headway in just the last week or so than we did back like 8, 10 years ago after what, like 3 months. Like this is right now is about the 3 month point last time. So
Oh, yeah.
we're definitely blowing it out of the park. We're getting it done. Last time we had a huge number of problems. We needed this and we needed that, and we needed someone who could help us with this and someone who could help with that. And we had, millions, not literally millions, but, seemed like millions of emails coming in left and right all day and night. This time we're actually handling things pretty smoothly. Yeah, tons and tons of people still that we need to onboard, and we are working on that. After this meeting, I'm going to get back to onboarding calls, actually. Um,
Love
I
you.
just, I really appreciate every one of you, everyone who is helping get this done. Marcus can't do it by himself. I can't do it by myself. We can't do it with just the two of us. Otherwise, it would have already been done, right? So I truly, deeply appreciate everyone who is actually putting in effort to try to further this cause so that we can save roughly 40 million or so people from Trump's America. Oh, that is a very cute doggy. Um, so, with that being said, folks, if you have any sort of needs, if you find yourself, awake at 3 o'clock in the morning and have an amazing idea and you think, gee, this will likely help get things done, help further the cause, send an email. It doesn't matter if I'm not awake. One of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning is check all of my notifications, including my emails. I will see it. I will get on it and do things as best and quickly as I can. Um, it really is a team effort, you know. I've got all sorts of ideas. Marcus has all sorts of ideas, but just our two brains alone, that's only so many ideas. If we get 1,000 Californians together, that's 1,000 brains worth of ideas. We could do this, folks, but we can only do it together. And that is why you are the most valuable people in this movement. Not me, not Marcus. It's all of us. Every single one coming together. No one person, right? We are all in this together. You have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I will do my best to address. Seriously. I Sometimes people think that I'm a little disingenuous or whatever, and you know, I'm just blowing sunshine up the kilt. Um, Really, I do mean what I say. I value everyone involved. I really am going to pay attention to every single question, comment, and concern. Also, you know, this time around, like it's come up a few times that, oh, 600,000 signatures. This time around, we have a much lower threshold we have to meet, like 1/3 of what we needed last time. It is highly probable that there are 600,000 Californians all throughout California total who are so pissed off, so peeved, or so worried for themselves, their family, friends, neighbors, right? That they would sign this to at least get it up for a vote. Step numero uno, getting this thing up for a vote. Without that vote, we don't do anything, we don't get anywhere. So while Marcus is working on being our spokesperson, Jeff is helping us handle stuff as our executive assistant, and we've got our social media folks doing the social media. We've got outreach folks doing outreach, regional coordinators doing their thing. It's all going to start coming together. It's all, all the pieces will start to really, right now it looks like a random piece here, a random piece there. When we start the puzzle, eventually we will be seeing, oh, this puzzle makes this sort of a picture. We are almost there. We only need these sorts of pieces left, right? Yeah, it's the tricky part of the puzzle. You've already got the edges done, all the easy pieces are put in, and now you have to really like do the tedious stuff. Figure out, oh, it's this piece over here, and oh, that piece almost fits, but not quite. But we can do this. It's, Marcus told me something very valuable recently about why he likes watching horror movies, even cheesy ones. And that's because it makes all of the problems that we deal with just seem just so trivial, so easy. I mean, it's not like my face is getting eaten off by a zombie. It's not like, nuclear apocalypse is
Okay.
upon us or,
All right. All right.
So keep in mind that when we look at things right now and we're looking at one single aspect, it might seem a little daunting. But really, all in all, in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture, we've never had it this easy, ever. Now, we can't get complacent, right? We need to do the work, but it is a doable amount of work. It's not, save the entire world. We're talking about save 40 million people. Would it be nice to be able to save the world? Yes. However, we can't really do that. What we can do is save 40 million or so. So that's what we're doing. And together, we are going to do this. I've been putting it out there online, and feel free to, use this little tag out there as you're talking to people or messaging online. Our beloved Golden Land, California. Together, we will make this collective dream a reality for our beloved Golden Land. That's our little inspirational quote for everyone.
I love it. I love it. Let me remind everybody a little bit where we are, just in case, Jay, everyone. We're getting regional directors for Sacramento, the Bay Area, Fresno, Los Angeles, San Diego. We're also going to have a permanent storefront in each one of those where someone can pick up a petition anytime during normal work hours. There will also be a regional director in there who can handle questions. And we will also have an on-the-ground event where we're seen handing out petitions. So we're going to show that we're on the ground. We're going to have a contact person, and we're going to have a permanent store to pick up petitions. We're working out a few kinks with that. That'll be coming online. Additionally, we just hired the social media coordinator. So there's a whole new social media campaign that just launched on multiple channels that's expanding our reach. Additionally, in the background, Jay's interviewing about 10 to 30,000 people a day. We're bringing up a lot of officers. We're bringing a lot of officers on in the background, one of which is Jeff. And there's a lot going on in the background where we're linking the website, the bank, to the mass email, to the social media. So everything looks streamless and as corporate and perfect as possible because that brings us more people. The more organized and the more, wow, these guys got it, we appear, the more people join. People like to bet on a horse they think's already going to win. So our professional image, our corporate image, being more aligned and closer to what's the ultimate of performance for corporations allows us to get more respectability, gravitas, and bring people in. Two things I need to bring up just to back up Jay. Number one, we love critiques. So some of you have said, I'm not sure I should say this. Say it. If Jay and I knew what we were doing and we knew the right way to succeed, you'd all be independent now. So if you're like, hey, I think this is a mistake, I think we should be watching out. Please tell us, don't edit your words. Tell us we're not that kind of Calexit group. There are other organizations I'm sure you've washed or worked with where you got to watch on stepping toes. I mean, maybe don't call us names, but be critical, point it out. Our philosophy is please tell me if I'm not wearing pants before I walk out the front door. I'd rather have one of you tell me, bro, you, you, I'm not going to be like, how dare you tell me? I want to win. It's about winning. It's not about being leader. That's why we're bringing in new leaders. I'm also bringing on some regional spokespeople. We're looking at Gabby in San Luis Obispo. She's a voice actor and an LGBTQ activist. And we're looking at Dr. I forget his name. He was the former spokesperson for the Riverside County Medical Association. And we're looking to bring those two people on as professional spokespeople in addition to myself. There's also another guy I'm looking at who was part of a professional speakers bureau. So I'm also trying to get people who can speak well. So we have lots of members, and I'm trying to develop some people who can really come on. And so it's not just me and advertise. They don't think like me, they don't talk like me, but they talk really well and smart. So we're bringing those people on. Finally, some of you have said to me, hey, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm elderly. I can't get out as much. Okay, everybody can contribute. A lot of this game is online. It's making phone calls. It's sending emails. It's sending a letter to the editor. It's coordinating on meetings. So I've heard a bunch of you go, I don't know if I can help because I'm in a wheelchair. I have mobility issues. You can 150% be in. We will have other people do ground stuff. If you can't do ground stuff, please contribute. We don't have to have you do ground stuff. There's plenty of other people. Anybody with mobility issues is welcomed. Anybody with any sort of life issues is welcomed. I remember working with one woman who was brilliant. We only got 2 hours of her time a week. Boy, did she make it pay off, though. So if you can contribute, we want you in. Everybody's welcome. There is no mobility issues. And I just want to make that clear to everybody. Finally, please make the
Marcus,
critiques.
if I may, real quick.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, I am actually on crutches. So take it from me when Marcus is saying that we're not discriminating against anyone based on your mobility or whatever. I'm on freaking crutches. So if you feel that you can, go for it. We're there for you. But if you feel not comfortable with it, you feel that you can't, don't kill yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't, it's not the end of the world. There's always other stuff to do.
We had a person who was going to be a spokesperson, and then her family was like, we're afraid of being deported. So she's like, I can't be a spokesperson, but I can help in the background. Great. We move her to the background. So wherever you are, we can work with you. We need everybody involved. Also, when I say we're listening, I mean it. So I understand the first meeting had some hiccups. That was my decision and my fault. I take full responsibility for that. But some of you said, hey, we need short meetings. We need no debates, no potential infighting, no deep dives on the issues, and they need to be organized. And if people are disruptive, we're muting them. All of that's been implemented. This is our third meeting doing that. I heard you. I got 17 phone calls. Thank you for calling me. I heard you. The mistakes that happened in the first meeting are corrected. They will never happen again. You're on your second meeting implementing them. We heard you. Additionally, some people have had say, Mark, stop saying the lawyers are lying. Say there's other lawyers who have a different opinion. It doesn't work to tell people that they were lied to. Rather, tell them there's another way of thought. I'm actively working on getting that into my brain. Another person said, comma law, and make sure to emphasize comma, and I'm working on that too. Let's go to questions. Kathleen.
Um, Hi, good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
Um, well, first of all, I want to say I think I found out about this on TikTok. So it's on TikTok and there is a lot of support. Um, Number one, I just want to say that. Number
Thank you.
two, so I know there's a petition online that I could print out. Are you saying that I am welcome to print that out and start collecting signatures, or do you prefer we
Yes,
wait and get together with the LA regional person?
everybody's their own boss. The regional directors are there to support you. In our first meeting, I painted CEO Jason's right. We had an org chart. I made the CEO's color the same as all the people on the ground collecting signatures because you're your boss. It really comes down to you collecting signatures. Don't wait for anybody. You can print it. You can get out there. Everybody else is to support you and provide information for you and resources for you and maybe set up an event that you can easily go to so that you don't have to spend your time doing it.
Okay.
Collect signatures and have conversations.
So, maybe I could get a copy of that chart that you're talking about right now.
Uh, Kathleen,
Or-
send me an email and
Okay.
say, it's Kathleen. You promised me the chart. In
Okay.
caps in the title. I'll get it to you tonight.
Yep. And then, we are going to stick to the same script, right? We are, there's a list of talking points, facts that we are going to tell these people. Because I don't want to, I know a little bit about it. I certainly don't know a lot about it. I would be looking for some facts and some consistency, I would think would be good for our message.
So another thing somebody told me was, Mark, we need a bunch of training videos. If you've done interviews with the media, we need those on, and we need only the training videos where you answer questions. We also need flyers that explain things for you to download. If you go to the main page that where you download the petition, all of you should have. If you don't have it, email me again. We have 15 different training videos where I walk through what people want to hear. And we have 3 different flyers people can download that you can hand out. In addition, we're going to continue to have training meetings and regional meetings. We will also be posting these recordings up to provide additional training. Go to the main page, the one that you have to go to on the website to download the petition, training, flyers, everything you need. If it's not more, call me. But I want to point out 2 things that I've heard. Some people said, you really don't need to go get into it. We're asking people to place this, to study this and be able to have a vote in the future. What's wrong with saying we want to, you sign this petition so Californians can vote on something? It doesn't make it happen. It just means it's available to the voters. So you can go in depth, but you can also say, come on, guys, democracy. What's wrong with putting a vote up in front of the people? What's wrong with having an exploratory committee? How dare you want to get educated? How dare you feel it's okay to put a vote up in front of American citizens in California so they can think for themselves? That's an answer all on its own. I was giving these 20-minute answers and someone goes, Mark, try this 2-second answer. That's one. If you want more, you can do the training videos and we'll have more out. I see Zoom user, we'll get you in a second. What I'm using, first quick story. 2018, we spent $2,000 on a marketing plan. We spent 2 months organizing it. We consulted with people and talked to experts and put all this money and we're like, okay, this is it. We're really going to get a big bang. We got a couple hundred people. That night we were a little bit upset. We were kind of drinking and somebody goes, bro, what if we just took a heart and split it in half and put America on one side and California on the other? We did that and we had 25,000 reactions within 2 weeks. So our $2,000 multi-well researched, everybody in on it, got us 500. And some idea someone came up with after they were drunk is still being shared today. The point of that is your opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. The market knows what it wants to hear. One of us is going to figure out what that thing is that people want to hear, and that's the way I didn't think it was that impressive, but everybody else did. It was a broken heart with 2 pictures on it. That's what I'm saying. Be out of the bag. Let's go to Zoom user, please.
Hi, I'm Cece, and
Hey,
I've passed your link along on Messenger on Facebook because, to be quite honest, I got kind of tired of dealing with social media and all the negativity.
fair enough. I
But
understand
I,
that.
I've been passing this along to people on Messenger, and just I keep doing that. And a couple of them come back to me and said the legal thing, and a few goes, "Well, the federal government doesn't want to fund us anymore. We might as well try to leave. But what about healthcare? What about this? What about that?" So, how would I answer those kind of questions?
So I want to tell you 2 things. The first meeting we had, I spent like 20 minutes, probably too long, and everybody's like, it's boring. But the first meeting I spent was saying it's legal. Some of you are sending me articles going, this can't happen, it's completely impossible. I want to point out to you that that is misleading information and that we have lawyers who say differently. So I'm just going to go off the top and then we'll get to the financial. Well, actually, let me do the financial first. California's a donor state.
Yes.
We pay more in than we get. So anybody going, what about loss of this funding? And what about loss of that funding? You lose nothing. We have even more money. So if I give you $5 and I ask for $3, you didn't give me anything. That's my money. You're just handing it back to me. We're a donor state. We get about 75 cents on every federal tax dollar we send. There's about 20 to $100 billion more coming. That's why when I did the interview with CBS TV, they were like, Mark, this
Mhm.
thing costs 10 million. And I said, I don't care. They go, what? That's offensive. We're talking about 20 to $100 billion in losses per year. You're talking about 10 million. That barely shows up. So we lose money being part of America. Being part of America is a financial loss. We're a donor state. Additionally, we're the home of Silicon Valley. A lot of companies will not buy our laptops and our smartphones because they think the federal government will spy on them. After Barack Obama lied to the prime minister of Germany and agreed to spy on her. So now we're losing $2 to $6 billion in tech sales. Additionally, we're an agricultural supplier. We went to Asia, Governor Schwarzenegger, to ask them to sign contracts. Barack Obama sat on it for 5 years. George W. Bush sat on it for 5 years. Abraham Lowenthal, Global California, rising to the cosmopolitan challenge, top expert on international trade. We straight up lose. We cannot get products to the market fast enough. We have to wait 5 to 10 years for permission. Lost tech sales plus being a donor state. There is no lost money anywhere. I don't care what in the military. No, it's we gain money. When you were talking about legal, those 3 articles today, I reviewed them.
Mhm.
Can't secede, ridiculous. All 3 of them don't mention the 3 basic facts I mentioned, meeting one in the first 5 minutes. And I think that should
Yeah.
tell you everything. All 3 articles somehow accidentally didn't mention the 3 basic facts I said in the first 5 minutes of meeting one. One, Texas versus White is a Supreme Court case. It comes after the Civil War, which means it's legal precedent. 2, it says you can secede with, quote, consent of the states. Consent of the states has never been defined. You cannot say that means amendment. There's only one group who can. They're called the Supreme Court of America. And according to the Constitution, only they can define that. Period. Not some lawyer who's on the side. That's the way the entire legal system works. 3, the top constitutional scholar in all of California is called Erwin Chemerinsky. He's also the most cited legal jurist of all legal publications in America. Top scholar. He was asked about Calexit in 2017. He said a simple majority vote of Congress, not an amendment. So I see that they have David A. Carrillo, who is a constitutional scholar. He is not the top constitutional scholar, according to legal reviews. It's Chemerinsky. Chemerinsky says the opposite of him. Secondly, it says consent to the states. It does not say exclusively by an amendment. That's not in there. And only the Supreme Court can determine that. So it's completely legal. All 3 of those articles somehow leave all of that out. I've said that to 15 different reporters. I've told you all that. And somehow it wasn't there. I think that tells you everything. I'll leave it
Yeah.
there. Next
Yeah.
question.
Um, And I go jump around on different podcasts and I see a lot of people saying, well, California wants to join Canada. California wants to join Canada. And so I think the movement is great. I think it can be done. And I think we could probably get more than 600,000 signatures,
I agree.
especially in LA where they're all hearing and some of the supporters live there. They're going, well, there's strings attached. There's this attached. Okay.
Send them to me. I'll straighten them out.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who's
No.
telling you
I'm
this
saying
isn't legal is
that the voters in LA are now pissed off because of the government's strings attached policy, so they don't like it.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, that has been a
Yeah.
huge boom. We did not know
I
the
didn't
Palisades
say that
fire was
right.
going to happen, and we did
Mhm.
not know that Donald Trump would. And it, just to be clear, this is not about Donald Trump. I want to repeat that. This movement
Yeah.
is not about Donald Trump. This is not about Donald Trump. This is about what kind of country would elect that man 3 times in a row. That's
Don't get me
millions of people.
started.
And if he's gone, they're still there. So I want to be clear. Some people have, Mark, you need to cut down on the Trump thing and point out this isn't about Trump. Okay. Sarah in San Diego. Oh, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. Hi. Okay, so quick question. I just wanted, wait, is my camera on this side? Yeah. So
Yep.
I know that right now our focus is like getting the signatures, and that should really be the focus, and really questions like past that are like not really conducive to our next goal, which is just getting the signatures, right? But I also am wondering, has there been any thought or any like written plan on what's going to come, not if, but when California does secede and become its own country, to like democracy, constitution? Like, are we just going to take what America took and we're just going to like, do that? Or are we going to have a meeting of people to write our own constitution? And so I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, has there been any thought to
there
that?
has. Yeah. So
Okay.
we as a movement, we can't really take a stance on that because you want people to focus on signature gathering, but I can tell you what people have said. The moment this passes, some people have pointed out, Mark, you're immediately going to have to move from signature gathering to promoting the vote. So even before we get to where you're saying, we get this qualified, we now have to go promote everybody to go, you better vote yes for this when it comes on. That's step 2. Then we get to what you're talking about with the vote. And typically what happens is yes. When you look at burgeoning nation states, I look at Israel and Singapore. I'm not talking about the policies. I'm just talking about history. There's usually something called an epiphany complex. Simply put, you can't go from land to nation without people going, this has been a long-term problem. Maybe we should fix that. And this too has been a long-term problem, and maybe we should fix that. I can't tell you what will happen. I can tell you what humans typically do in these situations, and they do exactly what you're saying. When we look at the California Constitution, I would point out, though, it's larger than the American Constitution and protects more of your rights. I believe it's the 3rd or 4th largest constitution in the world.
Okay. That's good. That's good. And then follow-up question, do you have any idea on like so that's like really good information, because I feel like that's a question that like I'm getting follow-up question, like the elected officials would just be kind of the elected officials that we already have in place?
Well, so the elected officials, they come up at every 2 and 4 year intervals, right? Okay. So some of them are going to come up for election now. Some of them would come up after it passes. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you what we have always predicted. There's going to be a lot of politicians who are going to go, ooh, gross, I'm part of America, because they think that's what's going to help them. And then there's going to be some ambitious politicians who go, hold on, I'm just a council member or assembly member. I could be president if this maybe I should get out in front of this so that I can go 15 levels above where my political career was going to end. We want those ambitious politicians. They will be there once they sense the ground is right. How many of you mistakenly thought Franklin Delano Roosevelt came up with the New Deal? They're all liberals. Franklin Delano Roosevelt did not come up with the New Deal. Protesters approached him and said, we want this. And he said, great idea. Make me make it happen. Meaning you get out there and you get the public riled up, and then I'll go, I guess I got to do what the public wants. That's how the New Deal happened. Delano Roosevelt said it himself. we're going to count on ambitious politicians.
Cool. And then I have one final question. So I do social media, and I've had a lot of followers asking me like, oh, because I'm always like, every signature counts, right? So I'm like, so if you know anyone in California, like send them to me. Is there a way? I know that I need the physical signatures, but is there a way for anybody that I connect with, like online, how do I collect their signatures? Is there an online way, or do I need to send them to the regional director in their area, or what would be the process for that?
We're recommending that people submit it directly to their registrar of voters, so the person who fills it out, simply because if you collect them, then you have to mail them and you have to spend the money for them. Or last time we did, everybody send it in, and then it got to be like thousands of dollars for us to resend it to the registrar. Well, there's 600,000, so you
Yeah.
add this up. So we just told everybody, and this is on the main page where you can download the petition. It has instructions. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last one is submit to your registrar of voters. If you click the link, it goes to the official California government map. You hover over your section of California or click on your county. The information of your official registrar of voters automatically pops up. That is the most
Okay.
official reference, and it's there on the page.
So that's gonna, and admittedly, I have not taken a look at that. So what I should do then is, if I connect with somebody online, I can say go to your registrar of voters, and then they can complete it that way.
I would send them the main page to download the petition, and I will make sure you're going to email me, and I'll make sure to get that to you. I know there's been some issues with that. That's the easiest thing. We put everything on one article on the website, and then when people give us an email, we send them that URL. So there's not multiple pages. There's only one page to download the petition. It has the instructions. It has the links to the registrar of voters. It has training videos, and it has flyers for download. And then it also has dates for regional events in LA and next training videos like this. And we're going to keep having training videos until we get all the questions answered. Everything's on that page. I'll send it to you after this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if I may, real quick, Marcus, about politicians and such. Last time around, everyone wanted us to endorse politicians and do this and that. Last time around, we were a nonprofit. We were a 501c3. So we couldn't actually legally do that because the way we were structured, that wasn't what we were for. This time, however, we can. And I'm not saying our movement is endorsing her. I'm saying, me personally, as a green since 18 voter, I personally would love to see Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis stand up for California and for her fellow Californians, where her boss has said the statement, I am first and foremost an American. She has not. She is a hardcore born and raised Californian with a resume that would make a professional politician blush. She is amazing. She is a powerful woman. She is a very well educated woman. She's got the right stances on California issues. Everything about her, in my personal opinion, says that she would be the greatest person to have step up and say, let's get this done, California. Let's do it now.
Who is that? What's her name again?
Current
Eleni
Lieutenant Governor.
Kounalakis. Eleni Kounalakis, current Lieutenant Governor.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was it. So, ultimately, we haven't come up with any endorsement from Calexit, right? And we could consider that at a certain point, especially if we're getting it up for vote. Once we've gathered the signatures, we can totally come back to that as a group and have a vote within the group and see who, if anyone, we might like to see get an endorsement. That all being said, I'm going to actually hand it back over to Marcus. I see Zoom user there with a hand up for a question.
Zoom user,
Yeah.
I'm here to answer your question.
Okay. Hi, Marcus. This is Kristen.
Hey, Kristen, how you
Yeah,
doing? How you
good.
doing?
We talked last Friday.
That's right.
I have more questions.
Sure.
Actually, two main ones. Has there
Let's
been
do two.
any discussion of joining with Washington State and Oregon to exit the U.S. together?
Some people have brought that up. This is a California focused movement. I have said, though, if there are activists on the ground in Oregon and Washington who are saying we'd like to join California, then we would have somebody to talk to. Right now, all I've heard is Californians say this is a cool idea. We can't propose that or say anything unless there's actually someone on the ground. And even then, it would be a discussion. Some people have brought it up. We haven't seen anybody on those states saying that.
Okay. I have relatives in Washington and Oregon, and when I tell them about this Calexit, they say, "Oh, we want to join you."
Tell them to start a movement called Oregon Exit. We want the hell out with California too, and we'll help them get some publicity. I'm not joking. This is the way the game's played.
Yeah.
Also, a little known fact is that I got priced out of California, even, though I'm the CEO and I was working 2 full-time jobs as a head chef in the Bay Area. I got priced out. I actually live in Benton County in Oregon. So if you've got folks up here who want to like learn ins and outs of how to start up a movement like this or whatever, go Beavers. I'll throw that little hint out.
We did listen to you all from the first meeting. We're going to be ending at 4. We have 10 minutes. We're not doing debates anymore. We're not doing deep dives. We're not doing infighting. We're going to be focused questions, getting this done, getting you activated, and short time frame. We listened to you. We're keeping to it. Some of you have been on me about it. Thank you for doing that. 10 minutes. Zoom user, 1 or 2 more questions, and then.
So this is Kristen. I said I had 2 questions. So the other one is with Musk and his associates now in control of the Federal Payment Processing Center at the Treasury. I'm worried that they will cut off all payments to people who sign our Calexit petition because they are so, so awful. But do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah.
Is there going to be
retribution?
Yeah.
Right. I don't think they can do it, but let's go down creative avenue. Maybe somehow they figured out some way to do this. By the way, what you're talking about is highly illegal. But okay, let's say they did it. They can't do it till all the signatures are collected 5.5 months from now, at which time they're already collected.
Yeah.
So they can't punish anybody until it's already said and done, because they wouldn't have a list of the names anyways. Secondly, the registrar of voters is not allowed to give voter information. That is super highly federal illegal. And if any of them did that, you're talking about 20 years in prison. So I get that's a possibility. I just want to point out, people would have to do prison time in large amounts and have to go along with Musk and be willing to put themselves in prison in order for what you're saying to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? We're winding down. Any other questions? I want to make sure to answer any questions from anybody.
I just want to put it out there, Kristen, if you're still in here, please email me, Jason at calexitnow.org. Email me. We'll see what we can do about getting your folks up here with me so we can.
All right, we're going to go to Kathleen and then Arian.
Help spread education.
Okay, I got.
I just want to get. You
can go to Arian. I already had questions. Go to Arian.
Okay, we're going to go to Arian and then we'll go to Kathleen. Arian, what are your questions, sir?
Yes, I put my questions in chat.
Yeah. Okay. So the one I got was, can you fill out the form and sign it yourself? Yes, you can. Edition right here. And this is on the main page where you download it. You fill out the circulator. You list the county here, and then you would fill in yourself here. You don't have to fill in all 6. This is covering up their personal information. So you don't have to fill out all 6. You can fill out just one. You can be both. You can be both the declarator and the person who signed it. You can absolutely do that on your own. Make sure the counties match. So whatever you fill in has to be the address you listed on your registrar to vote. So the address you gave on your registrar to vote has to be the one you fill in here as you're filling in for the voter. And as long as you fill in the county and this, yes, you can do that. The other question was UC schools. I was wrong. It is only UC schools. The people who will be on the commission have to come from UC schools. I'm seeing how perhaps that wasn't a great idea. We drafted this 3 years ago. I apologize.
Right, thank you.
Any other questions? I want to answer any of your questions you got.
Okay, so I have talked about this and I have seen comments on social media. And one of the questions is, what are we going to do about military?
Sure.
That's just a question people have.
Sure.
I know it's on down the road, but
Yeah.
it's legitimate.
So a couple things. One, we're asking for a vote to leave. So the first question is, what if America invades you? Why would they invade you when they kicked you in the ass on the door out? You asked for a legal vote out. They're not going to. So that's the first one people do. Then the second one is, what if you're going to be invaded by another country? Okay, so California has the most combat experienced vets, active duty vets, and vets of any state in all of America. A lot of the top people are here. Additionally, your security protocol people who do all your internet security in the military, your people who design the engines for the jet craft, your people who do the sophisticated machinery for the Navy are all here. So we get the top engineers, the top scientists, the top designers, the top computer warfare people, the top experts, the top combat experienced people, and the top soldiers. The moment we're independent, we have something like the fourth largest army overnight. Just the amount of money we're contributing to the American empire, if you pull that away and put us here, we're not like 20th. We are it's like a super substantial military. Additionally, we're not going to go to war because they allowed us to leave. Additionally, putting trade embargoes on California. Some people said you'll leave and Trump will put trade embargoes on you. Trump won't say this, but the California economy and the American economy have a lot of linkages. If you cut ties between them, you're talking about 1930s level depression for both countries. We're simply put too big for America to cut us off and say, we don't want to trade. Great. Experience a 1935 level Great Depression. You cannot have super amount of economic linkages, cut that off and things to work. So they're not going to invade because we got the vote. They can't cut us off from trade because we're not interested in that, and they would ruin themselves economically. And we're not talking like a year. We're talking like 10 to 15 years to get out of that. Trump doesn't want to be part of that. Finally, we have the third largest military. And also, something you should know, we already have a military independent of the federal government. It's called the Cal Guard. This is not the National Guard. There's the formal military, there's the National Guard, and then there's something called the Cal Guard. The Cal Guard is under the exclusive control of the governor. The only reason it's small is because we put all the money into the National Guard. If tomorrow we redirected all of our National Guard funding to the Cal Guard, we'd already have an independent military, not under the control of the federal government, exclusive to the governor, that would be about the seventh largest army in the world. I'm not making this up. It's called the Cal Guard. They typically try to hide the fact that this exists. It goes back to an 1870s law that we got grandfathered in. The idea is you can't have your own military. That's not true. We in Indiana have this legal thing that goes back over a century, grandfathered in. That's all the military. Oh, and finally, America can't let China or Russia invade us. There's a thing called the nuclear umbrella strategy. It's the basis of the Cold War. The idea is this. If somebody got on the American continent, they could use a nuke against America. So the idea is you never let any foreign adversary ever get on the American continent because you may have to use a nuke against them, which would radiate your own people and land, or they may nuke you. So even if we're independent, America would never let a foreign adversary conquer Mexico or Canada because the idea is once you have a land bridge, then you can come into the America. They would blow them up before they ever did that because of a policy that goes back to 1955. That's all the military questions. And someone told me to do the top 10 questions. I will be getting that video out this week. It will be coming this week. It will be the top 10 questions. Yeah, Sarah.
Okay, this is like, I know we're wrapping up, but I just want to tell you something funny and like happy to end on the note. So, I have some people like watching me watch this Zoom on social media, and somebody from Scotland, his name's Leo. He was like, my gran lives in LA, and he was like, how do I vote for this? And I was like, well, you can't because you're not a registered voter, but your gran can. He goes, let me text her. So he texted her, and he was like, my gran said yes.
Post that on social media.
Yes, I will. So
Post that
somebody
on
from
social media.
Scotland texted their gran, and so I'm
We
gonna
love
maybe
Scotland.
drive up to LA and get it. But anyways, I just thought that was so funny. I wanted
love-
to share it with you.
And we need those stories because those go viral. The other thing I told you guys is this is important. Taking a picture is just as important. The more photos we have, the more people who are going to be inspired to join us who we haven't even met. So, it doesn't have to be 15 people. It's just one person. Damn, I saw a picture of Fairfield, Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Riverside, Fresno, Clovis, Sacramento, Orange Valley, Ohio. You get the point, right? Photo here, photo here. It's like, looks like they're signing petitions everywhere. When people feel the mass is doing something, they jump in. It's an old psychological effect. It's called the second hitty effect. It's also called the bandwagon effect. This is massively proven with humans. We're a herd animal. If they think they see something, they'll jump in too. That's why photos and everybody doing support. Yes, please. Last question.
One thing I've done before in some organizations is we do kind of like oh well, what can I do to help? And we say, okay, take a picture with you holding a sign. So like maybe we would do, I'm voting for Calexit, and then you set it as your profile picture. So kind of that like mass effect where we see that everybody is everybody who's voting. So then you just say, hey, set it as your profile picture. So that's one thing that we've done before.
I just got done telling you guys, I spent thousands and thought of the thing, and our marketing plan didn't work as well as somebody's idea off the top of their head. Sarah just proved that. I didn't think of that at all. Sarah just thought of that. That's a brilliant idea. I'm not blowing sunshine. I'm pointing out you guys have a million little ideas in your head, and some of those are the winning ones that are going to push us over like that. So if you're like, we should be doing this, do it and tell everybody.
Marcus, before you sign off, can you please tell us again when your interview will be on TV?
There's a KC24 CBS 47 interview tonight. I'm not sure when, but it is tonight. The good news about that is that I've only done 3-minute interviews. This is going to be a 15-minute one. And then they're going to have the full interview of half an hour also released. So they're going to release the full thing. They're not going to show it on TV, but it'll be a deep dive answering all the tough questions, and all of you can use that as a training video. I will also be doing an interview with CBS San Francisco on Monday.
Can you send us a link to the
the
long interview?
Yeah, you'll all know, and it's also going to be on the main page to download the petition where all the training videos are, all the flyers are, listings for future training meetings are, and listing for events in your area. Everything's on one page, and I promised you I will have it on that page as soon as it's out. Promise.
Okay, thank you.
So this will go on the ballots for 2028, correct?
Yes. However, as we've said, some people don't like the fact that it takes years to play out. The reason is because we have to fit it into the election calendar that the California government's already set. I can't just call a special election. Here's the great part. You can tell everybody that if you want Calexit to happen next month, they could make it happen. The initiative is not what's important. It's what the initiative does. It calls for a blue ribbon panel investigation, and it asks for a non-binding vote to be placed on the next election. Any legislator, any assembly member, any senator in Sacramento can call for a blue ribbon panel. If they get 5 other assembly members to back them, it's done. Any senator, any assembly member can call for a non-binding vote, which is really a referendum plebiscite question, to be placed in the future thing. And if they go, how would I do that? We already wrote it down how to do it in the initiative. So they already have a document to look at. So we're telling everybody to do 2 things. Sign and call. Sign, call. Hey, I need to sign. Great, you just signed. Guess what else you could do in 30 seconds? Call. We put all the information for everybody's assembly district on the main page. We walk you through the script to give, and there's a link to find your assembly member and your senator. You just type in your address. It's the official California government one, and we provide the script to you, and we point out that you could have this done, and that's on the page that you download the petition on.
Got it.
We're going to leave it there. I promised a tight ship. So, Jeff, if you would end the recording, if anybody email me, I will call you. Put in caps. Mark, I still want to talk.
Real quick, Marcus, for Sarah, I believe it was, can you please reach out to your Scottish friend and let them know we have been trying to invite Scotland to attend the annual Global Summit on Self-Determination. It's coming up February 22nd, and we have not heard back from Scotland. They are one of the very few movements of the world that has been invited and not responded.
That's so funny. Yeah, absolutely. And if either one of you want to like stay on the Zoom afterwards, I'm gonna pull him up on my like other on my live. And he was gonna talk to me on the live. So if you guys want to stay on and then we can all talk, or y'all can come join my live, whatever.
Well,
happy to facilitate that.
Let's end the recording.